Imagine Oracle Arena's roar distilled into a single heartbeat. Now imagine it silenced by the weight of what's about to drop behind the scenes in San Francisco, where the Golden State Warriors are cooking up deals that could rewrite not just their destiny, but the entire NBA landscape. Welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with splash air passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. While the league still reels from playoff hangovers and the offseason buzz hums low, buried deep in the hushed hallways and late-night calls at Chase Center, a storm brews. Whispers of 3 seismic trades lurk beneath the surface, rumors sharp, enough to crack the foundation of what many thought was a fading dynasty. It's the kind of backstage frenzy that makes insiders sweat and fans' notifications ping non-stop. The smoke signaling moves mixing desperation, brilliance, and bold gambles. First, picture this: the Warriors opening next season with their future hanging in the balance, pinned on a pivot at center who is an offensive ghost in practice at Crossroads, where the Jonathan Kuminga contract saga simmers and the question burns. Is it time to bet on Mitchell Robinson or Robert Williams? 3. ESPN's Bobby Marks didn't hesitate to drop Moses Moody as the potential trade chip to snag Robinson, a rim protector with the kind of defense that can intimidate, but an offense so barren it's almost anti-Warriors. Mitchell Robinson hasn't launched a single three-pointer in 7 seasons and famously became Hacker Robinson in the playoffs as the Indiana Pacers exploited his free throw fragility. And here lies the cruel irony: Golden State reshaped the NBA with floor spacing, relentless shooting, and positionless flow. How do you fit a center who shrinks the floor on a team built on shooting space? It's like patching a leak with a loose brick. You can see the problem, but can't fix it cleanly. Meanwhile, Kuminga's looming restricted free agency on June 30th threatens to freeze any hopes of cap space to chase ideal targets like Brook Lopez or Al Horford, both free agents who fit the stylish pace and space DNA better. So the clock keeps ticking, doors close, and desperation scratches at the Warriors' door like a debt collector. Enter Robert Williams III, the so-called Time Lord, whose health limbo 61 games over 3 years makes betting your season on him a high-stakes gamble. When healthy, he's everything: switchable defense like a tank, relentless pick-and-roll threat, a rim protector whose motor never quits. Remember that goal line 2021-20 to Celtics squad where he was a Defensive Player of the Year contender? That memory alone fuels dreams of what a fully fit Williams could bring. Yet, the front office knows the cold, hard numbers and injury files. It's the eternal headache. If Moody breaks out elsewhere, was trading him a mistake? If Williams breaks down again, who carries the burden? Without Klay Thompson's emotional and technical anchor and Andrew Wiggins' lockdown wing presence, the Warriors' locker room feels like a cracked fortress. Curry stands as the solitary MVP beacon now, shooting late into lonely practices, while the Western Conference's giant forwards loom. How long can Curry, Draymond, and this patchwork cast keep the dynasty flame alive? The divide is razor thin. Trade young assets for immediate, risky veteran bodies, or hold the line and hope for a Kuminga miracle. No middle ground exists. This is Russian roulette with a legacy on the line. Now, enter the second bombshell. Imagine the ink not just on a veteran, but a 39-year-old Al Horford, a man whose name strikes a nerve inside Chase Center's executive suites, amid the whispers buzzing through Mike Dunleavy's sleepless nights since Jimmy Butler's arrival. The glaring truth emerged: stars alone don't win if the paint is paper-thin. Jokic and Sabonis, Western monsters protecting their realm, won't tolerate Warriors' softness inside a playoff war. Anthony Slater of The Athletic revealed Horford as the sought-after stretch center, fresh off a championship run with Boston, carrying a storied career of painful defeats, epic comebacks, and unshakable resilience, despite questions around his age. Horford's mental fortitude is unmatched. Imagine Curry running the pick and pop with Draymond as general, Butler slicing defenses, and Horford patiently waiting to sink lethal threes is shooting a quiet but binding glue. What's at stake? Cap space shredded by a towering $107 million payroll and potential luxury tax hell, rendering any flexibility nearly non-existent. A fiscal noose that tightens with every injury or misstep. Fans fracture. Some view Horford as the lifeline, the veteran anchor reviving the team's heartbeat. Others see a desperate, aging gamble destined to drain resources and energy. Age is a ruthless judge. Asked CP3, Melo, Iguodala, legends who felt Father Time's ruthless tick caught in their last breaths at Golden State. But what if Boston's urgency to shed costs and Horford's hunger for one last title chase mean he really lands in the Bay? Curry's respect for Horford runs deep in a locker room fractured by losses and departures. Horford's calm guidance might be the quiet steel the Warriors need, an emotional and tactical anchor amid turbulence. Imagine that narrative: the new Warriors, Horford locking paint, Butler charging like his youth's revival, Curry lighting it up, Draymond mental warfare at full throttle. This is poetry, risk, and all-in swagger that's defined this franchise since its birth. Yet, at midseason, Horford's knees betray him. The Warriors fall hard, trapped by salary cap rules and taxes, forced to ride the storm with no parachute. It's a gamble that feels quintessentially Golden State. Live by the shot, die by the shot. Meanwhile, insiders like Slater, Dean Simon, and Marks keep fueling the fire. This veteran storyteller, the space maker, the high reward or bitter cost, all wrapped in one. What would you do if you were Mike Dunleavy? Go all in for one more. Spring with Curry or let it slip. Rebuild quietly around youth. Accept the harsh dawn of a new era. But wait, there's a third twist unfolding. The name that sends ripples through the league's nerve endings: Giannis Antetokounmpo. Picture Curry alone in the gym, under low light. Every bounce of the ball a silent plea. Give me one more shot. A rumor ignited on June 29 via the ABB Butler news account has mutated from a whisper to a thunder. Lap Giannis to the Warriors, bringing seismic stakes. Giannis isn't just a player. He's an MVP titan who lifted Milwaukee from decades of drought to champions, yet carries the weight of the what-ifs. I want to win, but maybe not here anymore. After his New York Times revelation, those words echo like a prophecy amid Bay Area whispers, an impossible siren song sometimes too tempting to resist. Dunleavy just hands shake with every call. This Warriors core, once for title strong, now fragmented, with Clay gone, Wiggins tradable, Kuminga promising but unproven. Could packaging the future Kuminga, picks, maybe even Jordan Poole unlock the door to an all-in Giannis cavalcade? But the questions cut deep. At what cost? Sacrificing future assets for one more shot with Curry and Draymond. Betting everything on a massive force who isn't KD's silky jumper, no effortless threes. The brute force avalanche craves space and flow, not a basketball Bodie system. Fitting Giannis into the splash and speed Warriors might birth either a monster or a meltdown. And if Milwaukee says no, demanding a haul no one can meet, do the Bucks risk blowing it all up now or wait for a tougher, costlier ride next year? Meanwhile, Lillard's status adds a smoky "hey, stay, leave, rebuild." Bucks fans wake each day clutching their hearts, fearing the Greek Freak's exit could unravel a hard-earned era of pride. Warriors fans joke come to the sun, Greek Freak, while Milwaukee prays it's all smoke with no fire, with Curry still making magic, but not immortal. Draymond holding the line with fewer voices alongside, executives no chances to land. A prime MVP don't come easily in for Giannis. A franchise like Golden State with a winning culture might be the next chapter he seeks, just like Durant, LeBron, and others who left home for legacy. So I ask you, if you were the GM, would you make that spine-tingling, salary-shaking trade? Send Kuminga and half the future into the void to chase glory with Curry and a 2.11-meter powerhouse running like a point guard? Or would you weather the storm, hold your chips tight, and trust dynasties die before they rise again? No easy answers here. This saga is more than rumors, it's a live wire, backstage drama tied to fear, hope, and a fan base aching for another chapter or bracing for the fall. As a lifelong Dub Nation believer, my pulse is racing just writing this. Are we witnessing the spark that reignites a fading dynasty, or the crack that fractures the legacy forever? Drop your unfiltered takes in the comments. I'll be right there, heart in hand, waiting to feel the roar of Dub Nation's truth. If your heartbeat just stumbled picturing Giannis running alongside Curry and Draymond in that chase center paint, then buckle up, because Dub Nation is staring down a canyon of possibilities, and every step feels like walking on a knife's edge. Let's get real. This is not about hypothetical highlights or fairy tales. It's a brutal, high-stakes chess match with at least 3 scenarios threading through the Warriors' war room. And trust me, the fallout will shake the league to its core. First, let's talk fit, because we all know Kerr's brilliance was built on a simple formula: space, pace, and unrelenting ball movement. A system so finely tuned it was impossible to disrupt until now. Bringing in a behemoth like Giannis, whose game is built on crashing paint, overpowering defenders, and punishing transition, could rewrite or wreck that system overnight. What if he demands an entirely new offense? One where Curry and Thompson's off-ball genius means taking a backseat. How does Draymond's defensive orchestration evolve with a force who's as dominant on the glass as he is elusive on switches? It's a tantalizing puzzle that could birth the most electrifying hybrid the NBA has ever seen, or morph into the kind of catastrophic chemistry bust the Warriors have only narrowly avoided since Kevin Durant's exit. Imagine Curry's 30.4 points per game from last season, down a bit by his standard, but still elite. And then imagine him adjusting, blending his wizardry with Giannis's power. Could Steph become more than just a shooter, evolving into a full-on facilitator at 35, feeding a relentless Greek freak who demands constant attention? On the flip side, what if these seismic changes fracture the locker room? Draymond, who has been the emotional heartbeat since the Splash Brothers emerged, is known for holding teammates accountable. Will he embrace Giannis's intensity or clash with it? What about Klay's absence, the silent voice still echoing in the team's psyche? Warriors fans know that Klay's defense and steady scoring were a calming force when the Thunder roared. Without him, will Giannis fill that vacuum seamlessly? Or will it feel like trying to fit a square peg in a circle hole? Now, tossing the Kuminga factor, the kid's a wild card with superstar potential, but also inconsistency that makes front offices sweat if the Warriors flip him, plus sweet splash shooters like Moody and Poole, and future draft picks for Giannis. They leech away the blueprint of the franchise's next decade in exchange for a high-risk, high-reward immediate shot. And that's just one side. The alternative, betting on a younger core led by Kuminga, Moody, and Poole rocking that patented Warrior style. With Draymond as the veteran linchpin and Horford anchoring the paint, could carve out a season of resilience, patience, and maybe, just maybe, a late summer finals run without blowing up the bank or the locker room. But then, there's the money, the luxury tax demon that whispers dread into ownership ears. Signing Horford alone adds $30 million plus, and stacking that with Giannis's max can crush the cap flexibility until 2025. Could the Warriors swallow that pill, hemorrhaging assets and money for a one-in-a-lifetime run with their aging core? Or does that spell fiscal disaster and weaken their future draft and free agency power? This is the kind of pressure that grinds organizations down, turning once vibrant fan bases into guarded skeptics. It's the gulf between the we believe Warriors scrapping as underdogs and the dynasties that rose like California wildfires, fast, relentless, and impossible to stop. Somehow, the chase feels scarier than ever. Look at the West right now. The Suns recalibrate after a brutal Chris Paul injury. Denver's evolving squad with Jamal Murray finally back. The Lakers desperately clinging to their last Suns rays of title glory. The Mavericks with Luka heating up in every triple-double night competition is slicing thicker than a Bay Area fog. Where do the Warriors slot in this mix? Do they become the unstoppable force with Giannis, or a hyped-up, flooded roster that can't get the chemistry right due to fractured egos and roles? We haven't even talked about the mental toll. How many rings and heartbreaks can Curry and Draymond bear before the grind erodes their fire? Steph's late-night work ethic made headlines again this summer, shooting till the gym's cold, the court's silent, chasing another miracle season. But even miracles have limits. Draymond's fiery leadership can't fill locker rooms scarred by departures, emotional fatigue, and uncertainty. And then, Mike Dunleavy Jr., the architect, standing at the helm with sleepless eyes and a phone that won't stop buzzing with calls from agents, other GMs, and media vultures smelling the drama. The decisions being weighed now may not only decide the next season, but the next decade of this franchise. Will the move to chase glory with Giannis create a dynasty sequel with a different cast? Or will it cause a fracture to deep two men before the clock runs out on Curry's prime? The irony here is that the Warriors, who revolutionized the NBA through shooting and spacing, might pivot to a style that demands brute force and paint dominance to survive in today's evolving league. This pivot could be genius or madness. And what about the young guys? If Poole, Moody, and Kuminga get shipped out, does that alienate the fanbase and kill the future or energize the present? Could Kuminga's untapped growth make him the missing piece for sustained success, rather than a throw-in for a short-term star? This is the kind of riddle the front office can't solve overnight, but it is the pulse of every fan's prayer and every journalist's speculative column. And amid all this, the emotional weight of history looms. No Warriors fan forgets that seismic night in May 2022, when Klay returned hurt, battling tears and pain just to remind us what resilience looks like. Are we ready to watch the last echoes of that era fade, or will the fire spark once more, fueled by the frenzy of smart risks, hard trades, and that unbreakable Golden State spirit? As a guy who screamed for Baron Davis's grit in '07, cried with Clay's painful comebacks, and stood with Curry through every splash, dunk, and heartbreak, I feel it deep this is either the moment where we reclaim the crown or watch the dynasty quietly slip away into legend. This moment, this chaos, this storm, it's our story, our fight, and that's what makes it so damn real. So now, more than ever, I want to hear from you. Drop your rawest take in the comments. What's your move if you're running the Warriors? Ride out this wild bet or rebuild slow and steady? Which player is the lifeline? And how do you see this next chapter turning? No filters, no holds barred. I'm in there with you, feeling every pulse, ready to debate, celebrate, and mourn through whatever comes next. Let's set the tone with the same passion that carried us through every buzzer beater and epic run, because when Dub Nation speaks, the NBA listens.